Hey guys, Miss Jagger here, and welcome back to World of Warships. Huzzah! Yes, we return to the fray of World of Warshipping, and as such, we introduce the new German shipping. Woo! Hell yeah! Yes, we return to see these German naval vessels of the new cruiser line for Germany, and also, if you are wondering, the Russians do also have their Russian destroyer line as well. I'm unlikely to go near it as I suck at destroyers, but for cruisers, I can give it a go. Yeah, German cruisers are just hilarious. I've already had a couple of games in both this one. I've actually had 3 games. One in this one in that one, and one in this one. The third one was pretty good. It was actually quite nice. The first 2 though were absolute laughs. So without further ado, let's jump into the action with this one, the Hermline, or Hermlin. I'm not entirely sure. I think we're going to call it Hermline. So here we are for our first battle. I am in my tier 1 German ship Hermline, or Hermlin. I'm not entirely sure as to what to call it, but it's actually quite a decent tier 1 gunboat. You've got 2 dual-barrel 150mm guns. You've got a couple of decent anti-aircrafts on the back as well as on the front bow as on the stern. Brain work for me. And generally speaking, it's pretty good. Well, that's actually kind of cool that that's rotating along with that. Oh, nice. The only disadvantages of this ship I've noticed, at least the immediate disadvantage, is the fact that the gun rotation is slow and you've only got 9,000 hit points. This is the true definition of gunboat. It's not that good. However, regardless, we are charging. And the first few shells are fired. I noticed immediately that we've got a destroyer inbound, and Bob's your uncle, there's my destroyer. So now, need to sort of get into position. I pop a few shots. Replay is a little slightly laggy. I pop and hit his engine, buggering him over. I get a nice, semi-decent shot on him. I think he uses a repair kit on his next bit. And blah, blah, blah. So I bugger over his engine again, which means now he's going to end up slowing down to a crawl. His guns are also damaged, so now he's slowly but surely going into it. I can't quite see him, and I also take immediate evasive maneuvers because the moment a destroyer looks at you, you've got to be careful not to, don't want to be sort of sailing in a straight line in case he tries to use his torps against you. He hides in his pit for long, but luckily his fire allows him to be spotted by me, and now he is doomed. We're popping as many shots as possible. He tries his best to get a decent amount of damage into it, but it is no use. I have his arse. It's going to be mine. Come on, you little bastard. Burn! There we go. And he's dead. I also set him on fire again, which is glorious. Unfortunately, however, what is less glorious is the fact that the Orlan got a nice shot into me, which buggered over my frontal guns. Now, I only have one gun at the front, so we kind of need that. So I take repeated shots on the side, and then things start to get interesting when another destroyer appears to my front bow. God damn. And I fire, trying to avoid in one respect, but unfortunately make the mistake because sadly his torpedoes, well, they're there, and I just don't have the time to react to them. Bam! And now he sends me to 880 hit points. Not good at all. And there's a cruiser in front of me. Oh shit! So now we're getting desperate. I have 880 hit points. I could die any time. If that Oran just simply looks at me, I'm going to blow up. But luckily he doesn't, which is pleasant. Enemy destroyer to my rear. I fancy some revenge, so I say to that destroyer, a fuck you. Pop a nice shot in. Not doing much, but at least I do something. I also get some experience for base capturing, and now the other Orlan wants my ass. Oh dear. And I dodged 2 salvos before luckily getting a shot off, but unfortunately it's not meant to be as I'm in there. And at this moment, the combined 2 points we have removes that 10 points that are left, and we win the game. So in a short, that is my shortest World of Warships game that I've ever played. It is absolutely hilarious. So this little gunboat, while she doesn't have many hit points, she's got a lot of spirit. Speed-wise is okay, and the guns are good. They're not perfect, but you're at a tier 1 ship. It's actually not that bad. Anyway, I'll take you now to the results of that game. Okay, so for that game, we were victorious, and it was hilarious. I was able to earn 55,000 credits and have a nice little 3,273 experience. Going for the team score, I was able to somehow get the top score out of all of it. Not entirely sure how I got the high score, seeming as I only shot a few times, then took a shit ton of damage, but I imagine due to the fact that the game was so short, it doesn't matter. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you in for the second game. And we're back for the second game. This time, we're in the Tier 2 German ship Dresden. It's a Tier 3 game? Yeah, we have Tier 3s. We have a Tier 3 game, and we're on the map Big Race. Now, one of the things I instantly noticed about the Dresden is the fact that it's quite similar to the St. Louis in the sense that it has a shit ton of guns. Now, admittedly, I hadn't really paid attention to this fact before starting the game. Pretty much when I bought this thing, I used some free experience to upgrade it. So I knew that it had 105mm guns, but I thought it was going to be one of those ships with a very few amount of guns, and that it might be a bit of a disappointment. I was pleasantly surprised to see that this thing not only had a lot of guns, but also was relatively fast. So, better than the Albany, which is good. Very good. Oh, I love it. It's awesome. It's one of those sort of things which is just, hilarious. Unfortunately, my first part of the battle, I actually make a bit of a mistake here. I kind of go a little bit too hard on the push, and whilst I dodge a lot of shells from the enemy Dresden, I try and maneuver around, try and dodge. Unfortunately, one shell does hit me. Annoying. So the enemy does get the first strike and the first laugh, but I shall try and ensure that I get the last. But yeah, for a German cruiser, this thing is, once again, it's about the same, roughly the same speed as the Hermline, or Hermlin. And she has the same maneuverability as the Hermlin as well. So, all in all, you're not going to be noticing that much of a difference when it comes to in ship terms. The only major differences, of course, is the fact that your guns won't do as much damage. You'll have a lot of them, but they won't do as much damage. And I kind of felt a slightly less... I wasn't too sure about it. Anyway, going back into the game, I spot the enemy Samson, and in my desperation to unload my absolute full-on broadside into it, unfortunately I crossed the streams a little bit too quickly, and I should have slowed down a bit too much, as unfortunately the torpedo, boom, hits me, and does a fairly nasty amount of damage. And unfortunately this also means I am completely exposed, so it ends up with a whole bunch of enemy ships popping shells at me, and I go gun crazy, fire as many guns as possible. This is what this thing is possibly good at. I'm taking a shit ton of damage. I'm popping shells off left, right, and center. I am shooting every motherfucker in the world. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. And at this point, I switch to armor piercing. Now, I would happily tell you right now, do not use armor piercing, as it doesn't seem to do as much damage as you hope. Like, I was hoping of firing at this Dresden because we are the same ship. I was hoping to be able to do some Citadel hits. But as you can see, this is not going to happen. So from now on, pretty much whenever you get this kind of ship, don't use armor piercing, just stick with high explosive. I decided to also try and have a go at the Chikakuma, as maybe I'm hoping to get a nice little high shot onto it. As you can see, the angle of the shells mean that it's very difficult to predict the range of your opponent. So just stick with high explosive. There's a definite chance you're going to do some damage and be able to get a decent kill. Unfortunately, I'm denied the kill on that little bastard, but the Chikakuma is still determined as ever to push up. I spot another ship, the Kolberg, in the distance there, but unfortunately, I am unable to hit it. Once again, I am still sticking with high explosive. I might just go free look, because it's giving me a bit of motion sickness now. Going back to it, I'm popping as many shells as possible. The Chikakuma is now starting to have a go at me in my quite low health state, taking a bit more damage. Do some damage, bam, I'll have that, thank you very much. So now all of that chaos is over, we can take a moment to breathe and realise what the hell happened. Unfortunately for my ship, I've taken a shit ton of damage. I have suffered a nasty torpedo hit to my bow section. I've taken multiple hits from shells along my starboard, my starboard side, and now I have just taken I've taken a shit ton of damage. However, I have returned that damage with 46 hits, 2 fires, 3 crits, and a kill. Now, I know for a fact now, if I had stuck with my high explosive shell, I would have perhaps done A, a bit more damage, and B, potentially gotten a kill, or an extra kill. So, just stick with, high explosive. Just stick with it. You know, I had to learn this lesson, which is definitely important. But it's certainly something. It's certainly something to be paying attention to. And as you heard just then from our very kind announcer, it is just about time for us to win. Barely a couple of minutes into the game. Barely a minute. Oh no, barely. Well, no, we're barely 5 minutes into this game. It's not as quick as the previous game, but it certainly is a quick game. About 5 minutes now since it started. Yeah, about 5 to 6 minutes has occurred since the game has started. And we're making our way into position. There is a couple of enemy vessels out there. The enemy South Carolina actually was quite late to the battle. Unfortunately, I think either he had lagged out, causing him to stay out of the game, or is using a bad bot system. I think, however, it's along the lag line. So anyway, I spot another Dresden, and I fire a couple of salvos of high explosive. A bit of a risky move, considering he can spot me and probably put me out of my misery in a couple of salvos. So I get some more hits in, and I then swap over to armor piercing once again, trying to think maybe I can get a kill shot on this. Still not noticing the fact that I did absolutely bugger all to him. So now he is taking an absolute shit ton of fire. Absolutely almost no hope of doing anything. And it's at this point that the rest of the team was a combination of both him, myself, as well as the Kawachi, popping shells into that Dresden, which pretty much finish him off, ending the game, because there's only like 29 points left. We only lost 1 vessel in this entire game. The rest of the enemy team just couldn't stand up to us. It was absolutely glorious. And so what I'll do now is I'll take you to the results of that game. So, we were victorious once again, and in this I was able to earn 52,000 credits, net myself 2,265 experience points. Rolling over to the team scores, I didn't earn as much this time. I only scored about half of the team experience, so not as much as the first game, but I imagine because my team pretty much ruffle-stomped anybody who went near them. After that initial encounter with a torpedo and a bunch of bad guys, it was pretty much easy pickings for the rest of the team. But all in all, a good game. Anyway, let's take you now back to the garage. So, we've had a game in the Hermlin. We've also had a game in the Dresden. So, what's the Tier 3, you may ask? Well, it's the Kolberg. Now, the Kolberg is in a position where it's very similar to the Dresden. In fact, something tells me the Kolberg and Dresden... yeah, Kolberg and Dresden probably had the same. Yeah, probably had the same design. Still got three of those things, and slightly bigger. And it also is in the position of having the same guns, the same 105mm guns that you get on the Dresden. Now, admittedly, the Dresden and the Kolberg share the same rate of fire, and you also share the same amount. So once again, you're kind of similar to the St. Louis, and unfortunately you'll be encountering the St. Louis a little bit more often. You do get slightly more health though, which is nice. Not by much, but nice nonetheless. Your armor is actually fairly good as well. So, it's a good ship. It's, you know, I mean, we'll go into a game in a second, but... as for, like, performance-wise, it's very similar to the Tier 2, which could make it not so great in the sense of when you're taking on higher tiers, but it's still good. It still can get up to a decent speed, it's still maneuverable, and of course, it can still bugger over anyone who gets in its range. Now, luckily, speaking of range, your range is slightly improved, this time having a range of 9.1 kilometers to the Dresden's 8.9. It is still not much, but it's better than it was before. So without further ado, let's jump into the last game of the video. And we're back. And the game has begun. I decided to go into a live play, as basically the replays I've got of this this particular vessel is not... They're not really that good. They're all right, but they're not great. So anyway, I was going to say that'd be impressive if I could have that. No, basically, let's just start with the Kolberg. Now, the Kolberg, the best way to surmise the Kolberg is any disadvantages or any kind of things that needed improvement of the Dresden, they've sort of done with this one. Like, everything here is just slightly better than the previous version, which is good because, you know, obviously being a tier 3, you need to have some meritable difference between this and the second tier. But, like I said, I can't really say that this particular vessel stands out in the sense of what it can do over, say, previous vessels. The extra range, extra mobility, and the slight improvement upon speed is definitely useful, though, especially when it comes out to dealing with other stuff. This is quite awesome when it comes to turning. You do lose a lot of speed, though, in the turn, so be careful. Oh, fuck, it's an Aurora. Basically a Russian equivalent of a St. Louis, and it's not nice. Oh, and speaking of the little bastard, there he is right there. Don't you just love it? Anyway, let's see how my slightly upgraded captain is going to be. I basically gave the captain the skill of any guns that is like up to 155 mils can fire, you'll have a better reload. And it seems to be evident that it is actually a good choice on this particular vessel. Bit of a gunnery off. Right, I'm not getting in front of these guys. 25 hits so far. 29 hits so far. 30 hits so far. 32, 33. 35 hits so far. That Aurora captain must be hating my ass so hard. Can I kill him and nick the kill? I hope I can. And I don't, unfortunately. Bollocks. But what I can tell you is that he probably hates my ass royally. Yes. Right, let's get the fuck out of here before they start looking at me. Ah! No! Oh! Just missed me. Just almost... They just clipped my gun. Ah, no! Bollocks. That time he actually did hit me. I am sad face. Oh, look. A Diana. I have no idea what that is. It looks like a tier 3. Is it a tier 3? I have no idea. Diana is a tier 2. It is instead a tier 2. Right, so we are kind of winning this one. Right, that's a Kawachi. Let's not piss that guy off too hard. Right, we're behind an island now, so we have to be careful. There is a destroyer, but unfortunately he is also behind the line of that. There is a Dresden, so we've got to be careful. The enemy team have captured B, though, unfortunately. We have killed, once again, 3 of their vessels before they even popped one of ours. We're going to lose one, though, unfortunately. He is down, sadly. There is the Kawachi. Pop that little bastard. He's also dead in the water. Not a clever idea for a battleship to be on his own. Why? Because this happens. Blah, 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 blah. Enemy Dresden on the horizon. Pop a shot. I love ships like this, which have fast rates of fire. I think when I was hearing about the German ships, oh, I'm missing by a mile. When I heard about the ships, I was rather looking forward to seeing this kind of naval combat because high rate of fire is something I very much like in ships. It's certainly something which appeals to me because it basically just says you don't need to worry about accuracy. And this is why ships like the Atlanta are absolutely beautiful, because I can just spam the bastards with fire, and it is glorious. It's very frustrating to be on the receiving end of this, so my sympathies goes out to anyone who does this. And again, my kill has been stolen. Thank you very much, whoever did that. Oh, the Aurora got unfortunately hit pretty badly. And can we nick some onto it? Kind of. 3 hits. I've got 84 hits so far. This is hilarious. Oh, a Diana is approaching. Can I pop some shots? She'll find out. No, I cannot. The range thing is not working. Oh, now it's good. We've lost a ship, though. We've lost 3 ships now. They're still kind of there, but now I have this bastard in my sights. Am I going to get the kill stolen from me again, or will I be able to salvage something and and actually have a kill all to myself. I hope I can have the kill all to myself. Doesn't look like I'm going to get the kill, guys. And I have been hit bad. No, we got the kill. Bollocks. Right. Swing, 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 swing. Avoid, 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 avoid. Bastard St. Louis. So the St. Louis now really has a competitor. This is awesome. Oh, swing, 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 swing. Taken multiple hits of fire there. Unfortunately, I'm not in range of any of the... I'm not in range of the St. Louis. He's just outside my range sphere, so got to be careful. But that said, this game is pretty much going perfectly our way. We've sunk most, if not all, of their ships. We've taken 3 casualties, so unfortunately we can't say that this was a flawless victory. But we are pretty much ruffle-stomping this team quite severely. And I've got 101 hits in my vessel anyhow. And that's South Carolina. Well... And this is the cool thing. I'm gonna keep being able to fire on that bastard. At least until I can shoot him again. And this is the beautiful thing about overcresting a thing. English working not very well. I can crest the top of that bastard. He's taken multiple hits. Can I get the kill? I don't think I can. I have no accuracy whatsoever. He is taken, destroyed. There is an enemy, but we're about to win this anyway. Any second now, the game will be considered over, but I am going to get some more damage before the end of this game, I hope. Yep, we got some damage. Chikakuma has been taking multiple hits. 5 hits in total. That's it. Game should be over in a second. There is a St. Louis. Let me just pay back the old favor of him popping the shells. For some reason we're still stuck at 20. I don't mind. This game is lasting extra long for that. Come on. 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 Yeah, suck it. Suck my shells, you son of a whore bag. You're not so overpowered now, are you, you little Schweinhund? Deutschland has answered your call. Oh, Deutschland, I love you dearly. Every time you come into a video game, you just make me smile. So, 134 hits, 3 incapacitations, 1 kill. Could have had a bit more, but sadly fate denied me that. But I set 4 people on fire. Looking at the team scores, didn't do as much as I hoped. I think it's because I didn't have the kills. Probably not because of the kills, but I did a fuck ton of damage. Let's have a look at the damage. Let's have a look. My nose wants to sneeze. Yeah, 33,000 damage. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. I just love the fact that I flat out destroyed people. Yeah, so I had fires set. Not too much fire damage. I was able to get a kill, thankfully, but this is tier 3, by the way. Once I get up to a higher tier, you do get higher caliber weapons, but you also get torpedoes. So let's go back now to the garage, or the port, as I should say. So that was a glorious victory. And if we go to the modules and down towards the Karlsruhe, or Karlsruhe, or whatever, you do get the 150mm guns. Range is not much of an improvement over the last one, but you do get the chance to have torpedoes, as well as upgrading it so you get 11.7 kilometers. So you do kind of get stuff. And hopefully we can also get survivability and artillery mounting. Nope, unfortunately not. But still, you're getting there. Very slowly but surely, we are getting there. And I am really liking German Navy vessels. It has to be said. It looks nice. So, without further ado, I will end this video and bid you farewell. Thank you very much for watching this. If you like this kind of content, do let me know in the comments section down below. Clicking on the like button and, of course, subscribing to the channel. If you are curious about the German ships and whether or not they're fun, the early tiers seem to be a lot of fun. Let's have a look. The Hermlein, or Hermlein, I can't quite pronounce it, is good. As a starting vessel, she is actually quite a decent one. Low on the hit point value, but... Oh, it's 128, not 150. Low on the armor value, low on the gun mobility. She's not great, but she does the job as a tier 1. The fun begins at tier 2, I reckon, with this Dresden, simply because of the amount of guns that you've got. Low in damage, admittedly, but high in rate of fire, and if you go to your captain, if you can upgrade him, if you wish to keep this, of course, go to the secondary, it might not apply to you. I don't think it does, in all honesty. But if that's the case, then you get to fire. I noticed my guns fired a little bit faster when I got this for my Kolberg, so it could be that this does also work as well, because it says minus 10% to reload time of guns with a caliber up to 155mm. So it could be completely bollocks, and it doesn't apply, but still. Anyway, guys, this is Miss Jaeger signing out. I'll catch you next time.